Namaskar students, welcome to All Force e-learning senior intermediate English class. Previously, poems were taught in different sessions, and in this session I am very much glad to start the first lesson. The name of the lesson is Dancing in the Rain, written by Azim Hasim Premji. Before the lesson is started, dear students, I would like to ask you a question. Have you ever seen children working in fields, shops, hotels? If you had seen, how did you feel? And you also observe the condition of the children who are going to school, how they are burdened, how they are tormented. Could you find any difference between the children working in factories or fields or in shops and the children who go to school and who are given a load of work? A straight question is asked. Would you find any difference between them? So based on that, we have a lesson here. Azim Hasim Premji, you know very well Wipro Software Solutions. He is the chairman of Wipro, is a business tycoon and philanthropist. Tycoon means a powerful businessman. Azim Premji is one of the powerful businessmen all over the world. And he is a philanthropist. Philanthropist means a person who loves mankind, a person who is benevolent, a person who is generous, and a person who likes to help the people. And this gentleman was born on 26th July 1945 in Mumbai. Azim Premji devotes a lot of time and resources to improve the educational system in India. Azim Premji's foundation and Azim Premji's university work in that direction. Dear students, Azim Premji's speeches and articles on education and motivation are insightful and inspirational. He says in an article, respond instead of reacting. If you respond, you can feel comfortable, and if you react, that reaction may lead to dreadful consequences. In that article, he revealed many important points which are useful to the youth. So in this particular lesson, Dancing in the Rain, the title itself clearly indicates dancing in the rain means enjoying immense freedom and enjoying the pleasure to the apex level or the sky level. but what is actually happening, that is what we are going to discuss in this particular lesson. And in this lesson, the pathetic plight of the children, sorrowful story of children is revealed. The teachers and the parents burden the students with a lot of work. There may be many obligations on the minds of children. There are so many reasons. There is a comparison. There is an aspiration of the parents. There is a cutthroat competition. Competition comes from primary level only. So many instances are revealed in this particular lesson, my dear students. You please pay attention. The screenshot is taken and that is displayed. You just go through that, have a glance, and point to point I will explain. Just listen very carefully and concentrate well on the explanation. Let me start the lesson now. One often hears the high prevalence of child labor in our country. One often hears, very frequently we hear, the high prevalence of, the high existence of the child labor in our country. You can see small children work in different places. We can notice that, we witness that, we experience that in our country, that is prevailing. Okay, of the many reports I have read, perhaps the most disturbing was a report on the condition of children employed by zari factories in Delhi, Mumbai and other parts of India. He read many reports, and among those reports, very pathetic and very sorrowful he felt was pertaining to the children who are working in zari factories in Delhi, Mumbai and other parts of India. Big zari factories where children are constrained to work, where children are compelled or forced to work. He got the reports, he read them, and how he feels. It grieves me to imagine children exposed to such inhumanity. I feel very sad even to imagine children exposed to such inhumanity, mercilessness, unkindness. People won't think that they are small children. Exploitation of their poverty. Children are exploited and they are not treated well. They are deprived of their childhood. They are taken away from their freedom, which is their right to experience that in their childhood. Very pathetic to imagine even. Okay, dear students, this is the first paragraph. And the second one, robbing children of their childhood is a criminal act, and our society must weed this malice out from the root. Robbing children, extortion is a criminal act. Robbing children of their freedom is a criminal act, there is an act also, Child Labor Act. If any complaint is lodged, if we observe anywhere and lodge a complaint in the police station concerned, the owner who forces the children to work, he is arrested and an action will be taken on him. It's a criminal act. Action will be taken on such people. And our society must weed out, eliminate this problem from the root level. The beginning is to be eliminated. But where does the root lie? Where is that root? And before you attempt an answer, let me give you an anecdote from the other end of the social spectrum. Before you give an answer, let me tell you a story in other way of social spectrum. In society, in other way. So up to now we have discussed the children who work in zari factories and in different areas they work. So there is a story here. Let me read first of all the total story, just you also have a glance. A colleague in Wipro has a child studying in standard 9 of a reputed school in Bangalore. This child wakes up at 5 a.m. and studies for an hour. Before going to school, she returns from school at 4 p.m. and rushes for IIT entrance exam coaching class at 6 p.m. She has tuitions for 2 hours. Post dinner, she spends an hour or more on homework. I asked her when she gets time to play. She replied that she does not play. She gets half an hour of free time each day, which she spends watching her favorite serial on television. She also added that board exams and entrance exams are very important and that you only get one chance. So here he tells an experience. One of his colleague's daughter is a school-going child, 9th standard. Every day in the morning she wakes up at 5 a.m. and for an hour she studies. And she performs her ablutions, she may take her breakfast and goes to school. School may not be nearby house. She goes to school and again comes back at 4 p.m. Immediately after coming home, again she goes. Where does she go? She goes to coaching center, IIT coaching classes for 2 hours. She comes home at 6 o'clock. Again, when she comes, there will be a person ready to teach again. For 2 hours, she has tuition classes, 6 to 8. She takes dinner. I asked her once, when do you play? She simply said that she would never play. From morning to evening, only half an hour time she spends on watching her favorite serial on television, and she concentrates only on studies. Right from morning 5 a.m. to almost till she sleeps. She does her homework after dinner. And she clearly says that she concentrates only on preparation for board examinations and entrance examinations. She says that they come only once. So this is the experience Mr. Azim Premji got when he asked one of his colleagues' child. You see, that child is busy right from morning to night. Children are hectic related to their studies only. They do not have any other entertainment. They are not permitted to play games. They are not permitted to do any other thing except studies. And next you see, my dear students, is the condition of this child different from that of the child in the zari factory? Is the condition of this child is different from the condition of that child in zari factories? Same. They are hectic, and these children are also hectic, busy. They do not enjoy. These children also do not enjoy. What is this? We get life only once. Life is a wonderful opportunity given by Almighty. Childhood is a wonderful opportunity. We can't get childhood again. Remember, students, when I look at children, I wonder whether they have time to play with friends. I wonder. He says that when he looks at children, he is astonished whether the children get time to play, whether the children get time to meet interesting people. There won't be any attachment. There won't be any proximity or intimacy. There won't be any relationship. Nowadays, children do not even meet their acquaintances, do not meet their relatives also. Mummy, Papa, myself, that's all. And my studies, my homework, and my cell phone, that's it. There is no other attachment. Very pathetic, very sorrowful. To explore the world and to follow their curiosity. The author is baffled. He is wondered. They can explore the world if they are given freedom. And their curiosity is seized. For example, when you ask a child to write an answer in his or her own words, the child tries to write. We have to motivate in that way. But what is happening? Rot system. We ask the students to by heart. They are not given any freedom to write in their own words. We have to encourage in that way. We have to encourage their curiosity. Children do not have that. I don't say that all children are like that, but system is prevailing in that way. So very sorrowful. And dear students, you see, when the first monsoon showers begin, I would think that the streets would be full of children rushing headlong into the rain, dancing and playing. When the first monsoon comes, obviously there will be rains. Children do not have any what we call control. They can come out fast. They enjoy the rain also. They want to be drenched in rain. They want to be soaked in rain. All the children come at one place and enjoy the rain also. But they are prevented from enjoying that. There will be unnecessary restrictions on children. Hey boy, you don't go out. You may get cold. You may get fever. Very conscious parents also. As they are very conscious, they are not permitted to go out. That's why here, however, I think today the rains fall on empty streets. Children won't go out. Children won't enjoy the rain. So that is the thing the author experienced here. He is saying the condition of the children. Okay, dear students, and this, my friends, is the new Indian reality in our villages, in our slums and in our metropolitan high rises. This is the situation prevailing everywhere, in villages also, in districts also, in cities, metropolitan cities, everywhere. Children are not permitted to enjoy their childhood properly. Comparisons. So there are some reasons here the author has mentioned. Whatever the reasons are given here. One is poverty. Okay, because of starvation, children are forced to work. And of course, even school-going children, though the parents are poor, they want to see their children in good position in future. And societal aspiration. Society means people. People have many aspirations and ambitions. New hopes and aspirations they have. That is one of the reasons. We compare ourselves with others. Our neighbor's child studies in a big school. Naturally, we also feel, why don't we join our child in that particular school? Comparisons. Whether the child has interest or not, that will not be properly evaluated. They join the students or they join their children according to their will and wish. And apathetic individuals and organizations. Apathetic means indifferent. Indifferent means negligent. Negligent individuals, negligence prevails everywhere. And organizations also. They are very negligent. If they work against this, what happens? What will be the consequences? That's different. And or just the burden of circumstances, situations. According to the situations, according to the circumstances, whatever it may be. The reality is that our children are straight-jacketed. The reality or the burning fact is that the children are prevented from growing properly. Children are prevented from growing properly. Okay, dear students, children are taken away from their freedom, which is their right. Okay, dear students, and the final indicator of a country's independence is the way its children live. Country means people. People means especially young people. Today's children become tomorrow's citizens. So the final indicator of a country's independence, the major indicator of a country's independence, independence means here is the way its children live. How the children live in a country. If they are forced, if they are tortured or tormented, if they are ill-treated, can we say that it is an independence? Children should be properly treated. Then only we can say that a country is independent. Okay, dear students. Are children free from the malice of poverty and hunger? So it's a question the author asks. Are the children free from the problem of poverty and hunger? Are they free from starvation? Are they free from the burden of parental aspiration? Are the children free from the parental aspiration? No. According to the will and wish of the parents, the children are studying. Of course, there are some exceptions. We can't say that all parents force their children to study according to their will and wish. But majority. Are they free from norms of social conditioning? Are the children free from the conditions that prevail in the society? And are we ensuring the curiosity of children, of our children? Are we able to make sure that the curiosity of the child is experienced or enjoyed, continues to burn and is not stamped out? Their curiosity should not be eliminated. Can we assure that? Can we ensure that? Can we give any assurance regarding that? Okay, and are they free to explore the world? Are the children free to explore the world? Are the children free to examine what is going on around the world? World is wide. Knowledge is unlimited. If the children are motivated to utilize their curiosity in a proper way, they grow like anything. And to realize their unique potential, every individual has unique potential. I have my potential, you have your potential. In the same way, a child has his or her own potential, which is incomparable. Every individual has his or her own talent. Some are experts in art, some are experts in painting, some are experts in singing. Different fields you can take. Are we really motivating them? And finally, you see, and thereby help discover the true potential of the society itself. So if we encourage the children in that way, suppose a particular child has interest in cricket, for example, you take Sachin Tendulkar. He was not forced to concentrate on his studies. He was very much interested in cricket. He did not even complete 10th class. He was motivated. He was trained like anything, because of which he became a great cricketer. And he received the highest civilian award in India, that is Bharata Ratna. Like that, we can give so many examples. Children should be motivated to realize their curiosity. Their curiosity should become original. Like that, and if we help like that, automatically, so the true potential of society itself. Potential of society means what? Society means people. If the children are treated well, if the children are inspired in a proper way, automatically they will become extraordinary and society becomes strong. Okay, dear students, this is part of the lesson, and we can continue the remaining in the next session. Stay with and read the lesson and try to understand every line. You can develop your reading skills also. Thank you, students.